While every president since George Washington has been concerned with international matters, there have been four major realignments that have happened in American foreign policy, specifically by executive order. These four presidencies are James Monroe, Teddy Roosevelt, Harry Truman, and George W. Bush. But that isn't to say other presidents haven't put a major stamp on American foreign policy. The Monroe Doctrine of 1820 was really created by Secretary of State John Quincy Adams and essentially told European powers to stay on their side of the world and America would take care of its side. Since the British seemed to go along with this, so did the rest of Europe. After the turn of the 20th century, President Teddy Roosevelt added the Roosevelt Corollary, which stated, yeah, we're still kind of isolationist, but also we're the world's police. International police power is still controversial to this day, but essentially stated that America had an obligation to intervene when chronic wrongdoing was harming nations powerless to stop the threat. While this kind of thinking has allowed America to do a lot of good in the world, it's also allowed America to serve some selfish interests and back bad leaders because they protected those United States interests. Of course, it's a matter of perspective from a politician's standpoint. What some people called making war, other people have called simply keeping the peace. In 1926, President Calvin Coolidge said, "The Americans are no more making war in Nicaragua than a policeman is on the street with passers-by, just keeping the peace." After World War II, everything changed in the atomic age. The threat of communism was the defining motivation for American politicians, and the Truman Doctrine stated that America would stop the spread, politically at least, of communism anywhere, at any point, any time in the world. Containment in the Truman Doctrine certainly led America into a number of places over the next 40 years, like Korea and Vietnam. After the end of the Cold War, Bill Clinton finally was able to be president in a time when national security stakes were lowered. The biggest military events of the 90s revolved around humanitarian issues. Of course, everything changed on 9/11. The American government voted to go after Al-Qaeda and Taliban in Afghanistan, and then from there, things got a little bit more controversial. But the Bush Doctrine essentially stated that America would go after any state that harbored terrorists or encouraged terrorism in any way. This most recent shift has created an ongoing war that has no real end in sight because there will always be a lingering threat of terrorism. So those are the four major realignments: the Monroe Doctrine, the Roosevelt Corollary, the Truman Doctrine, and the Bush Doctrine. Every president in between has acted in one way or another on those driving directives. If you have other questions about this or any other topic in American history, let me hear it, and subscribe for more USA History Vlog.